timelines. Timelines is a feature introduced in Unity 2017.1. It allows you to create cutscenes, so cinematic content, gameplay sequences, and others. You can imagine it like a video editor, but instead to have video clips, we have animation clips. This will be clear in a moment. Furthermore, it has a good integration with Cinemachine, which we will explore in section 3. In this section, we will learn the timelines tool in general, how the editor works, how can we work with tracks. We will go in more details on what an animation track is and how to record animations within the timelines editor. We will explore also how other tracks are controlled, and finally, we will use some script to control the timelines. With this said, let's get started. We are going to have an overview on what timelines are and what we can achieve with them. I'm going to show you which is the final effect of a timeline. So in this video, you don't have to follow along, but rather just listen and have a gist of what a timeline can do. First of all, we can see that we have a timeline attached to the bottom, which is the default position of Unity. Now, if we don't have it, we can always go on Window and click on Timeline. Now, as any other tab in Unity, can be detached and can be attached to the bottom. Now, I suggest you to keep at the bottom for the simple fact that the timeline needs a lot of horizontal space, as we will see. Now, in the top left corner, there are the playback controls. So if I press play, we will see our main character kicking down a radar tower and jumps from an explosion. Then, on the right, we have playback control directly on the timeline, so we can scroll through it. By clicking this button, we will be able to switch between different timelines. In this case, we have only one timeline called Action Scene. Then, on the right, we have a setting menu. If we click it, we are able to see the timeline in seconds, or rather in frames. Let's keep it in frames for now. Then we have duration mode, which can be based on clips, which means that the timeline will last until the last clip is shown in the timeline, or in fixed length, as it in this case. Here we can drag this blue tag and choose how long the timeline should last. So if I short it to just 60 frames and I press play, Lola will just kick once the radar tower and then stops. Instead, if I extend it to all the duration of the timeline up here in frame 642 and then press play, we will see the whole timeline playing it. Now, other options in the settings menu are about the frame rate. It's pretty straightforward what it doesn't mean, and it's good practice to keep it in 60 unless you have other reasons to change it. Then we have an option to show audio waveform in case we have audio tracks. In this case, we have a subgroup here in audio tracks. So if we have waveform selected, we will be able to see the waveform of the audio. If we deselect it, it won't show. As a good practice, it's always good to keep it on, so we have an idea of what in the audio is happening. Then we have two features, which is snap to frame and edge snap, which actually allows us to better position animation clips.